Hey guys, and welcome to another video, another Kickstarter news video for you guys. We have a lot to discuss here, a lot about board games, a lot about minis, a lot about Kickstarters, so let's get to it. As always, I'd like to start out by thanking my patrons and YouTube members. Without their support, videos like this would not be possible, so thank you. You guys are all rock stars. Also, I'd like to thank all of you down in the comments below, people subscribing and liking, sharing, using the Amazon affiliate link, pausing that ad blocker, any of that kind of stuff helps the channel a huge amount, and I am sincerely grateful for it. Now, let's go ahead and get started on all of this because there is a ton to discuss. Starting out right away, Tiny Epic Pirates, that is coming May 19th. So fairly soon here. This will be on Kickstarter. It looks like there are 7 ships. I was looking at this a little bit and it looks kind of interesting here because there are 3 different kinds of ships. You have the normal player ones, the 4-player ones with the 3 cubes. You have these 2 down here with 1 cube, and then this one special one with 3 masts and sets of sails and no cubes. Don't know what that's all about, but it looks kind of interesting. If nothing else, these are actually really fun kind of little games with a surprising amount of content. None of them are super heavy. They're all fairly light, but more oomph than you would expect. Next up, we have OCO Chronicles Oni Hunters. This is a card game based on the OCO Chronicles series of the graphic novels. And again, it's a card game, not a miniatures game, so it's not something I normally cover. However, I have played OCO Chronicles, the miniatures game, and it is by far one of the biggest hidden gems I have. Some fantastic miniatures, some super unique dungeon crawl card play. And if the card play like that is anything like this, then I'm highly interested because it's actually pretty darn good. Additionally, it's just some beautiful art, like really, really unique, colorful, vibrant, awesome, good motion. Highly recommended. So I will definitely be looking into this. One, I'm a sucker for card games. I'm a sucker for the IP, and the Red Joker has been doing some good stuff, so I'm kind of interested. That'll be live May 19th, by the way. Next up, on May 21st, we have Redgrass Games coming with a improved 360 miniature holder that they have. I have the first edition of it, and it works quite well. The 360 is very nice. A problem I had with the other one, the one with the handle that they had at the beginning with kind of the Coke bottle lid system, is I always tended to scroll that part and twirl that, which would end up unscrewing the top off, and eventually the mini would just fall off. So this one solved that for me. I typically like a little bit of a thicker handle myself, but this ends up still getting some use, especially when I need a second one. And the tack they use on top is amazing. It's better than blue tack. I don't know what that orange crap is, but it's really, really good. This is showing some kind of like magnetized base or something on there. I'm not sure exactly what the difference is there. Maybe you can just pop on different tops so you still have the interchangeable portion of it, which is nice. And they're throwing in a free kind of art book too that looks kind of interesting. It looks a little bit more advanced than, say, like some freebie you would normally get. Next up, on June 9th, we have Castle Panic Deluxe. This is their first time Fireside Games is coming to Kickstarter with a Castle Panic Deluxe. Deluxe means miniatures, which makes sense then why it's on Kickstarter. This is the highly acclaimed kind of group of games. You can get like Star Trek Castle Panic. You can Castle Panic anything, it seems. This looks like a normal kind of fantasy styled Castle Panic game with the miniatures. I don't know the scale. I don't know how good it'll be against a first time on there, but with that big of a name now on Kickstarter and trying that out, I figure it's probably worth trying to see what's going on here. The colors look good. The sculpt looks decent, at least render-wise. I don't see anything that makes me yell foul on there, which is good, though they're not showing a whole bunch either. But we'll have to keep an eye on that. Next up, and I don't know when, but CMON is making some comic books. Now, why am I talking about comic books? I normally wouldn't, except they have some gameplay added in here as well, just to get that FOMO itching for you. So if you thought you had everything for these games, you no longer do. You have to back their comic graphic novels to get the rest of the game content you're looking for. So here's the Invader one, by the way. They have a little video here. I'm not going to play it, but essentially they're graphic novels. They're just kind of comic books. I don't know, maybe around 100 pages. I don't know if that's what I would be expecting or not. I guess they'll say. But they throw in miniatures there because FOMO. So hopefully you'll want to get it, if nothing else for that, and they can manipulate you into buying a graphic novel as well, or, vice versa, I guess. I don't know. But either way, the miniature, he looks cool. I like him. I like his facial expression. In the miniature, more than the art, actually. He looks kind of derpy in the art, I feel. But either way, then they're doing this with several different ones. So here's Cthulhu Death May Die. If you want this terrible looking lady here, again, the miniature looks better than the art, in my opinion. You can totally get her if you buy the graphic novel. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure how to, I know how to feel about the, you have to get the graphic novel to get this. My worry is that we're going the video game route where suddenly you have to back this and get this and get that and get it from here and get it from here to get everything that the game has to offer. Preferably, I like it just to be really hyper focused. And it's like, if you want Death May Die, you back Death May Die. You don't back Death May Die plus these other 3 campaigns. Sooner or later, I'm gonna have to go get a Happy Meal to get a CMON Death May Die miniature as a little toy, so that I can get everything the game has to offer. And I don't like that mentality. I don't like that path, and I'd rather just not even walk towards it, personally. And I love comic books, by the way. I'm an avid. Well, I used to buy all the kinds of graphic novels, but now with subscription based stuff, I just do DC Universe and Marvel, the subscription one there too. And I mean, it's whatever. Now, this is big. This is Small World, or Small World of Warcraft, which is a great play on words. It's not Kickstarter, coming summer 2020 by Days of Wonder and Blizzard Entertainment. The Blizzard's board game group worked with Days of Wonder a lot on this and did a lot of feedback. It looks pretty interesting. Now, I only have the base game of Small World, and I love it. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun with the family. It's a great family game. A little light, but it's quick and it's easy and it's painless, and you still have fun with it. There's enough strategy there for me to enjoy, I guess. So it looks like they're kind of doing this kind of separate boards for each amount of players, and they're all kind of uniquely shaped, which looks kind of cool. I really dig that. And they have some other stuff too, like they have a team variant rules that at least I don't have in the core set that I'm kind of interested in. That'd be kind of interesting. And either way, it looks nice. I'm definitely interested. I think the World of Warcraft, that colorful high fantasy look, matches Small World pretty perfectly. So this should be kind of entertaining. And I haven't played World of Warcraft since the first expansion. So what was it, Burning Crusade or something like that, where they added the PvP anyway. Okay, next is some Kickstarters that are ending. And first of all, Sheol will be ending, though I'll be saying that for a few videos because it's always 25 days to go. So plenty to go. It's about 40% funded, so I'm not too concerned about that because I think they still have a few add-ons to add as well. And I think as the word gets out and they show more and more of the game, that people will continue to kind of look at it. And their updates have been kind of interesting too. Anytime I think a game actually has to really earn its funding, the consumers actually win a little bit because they have to win us over, right? And so they did stuff like some social stretch goals, which guess what? Got us that double layered board. Everybody was looking for the double layered player board. Well, we already got it. This was, we got the 200 fans, 100 shares instantly. It was nothing. So we got that. We got some more lands. That was another one of my comments, was I'd like to have some more lands. Well, guess what? There's more lands. So that's perfect too. So that worked out well, I think. Euthia Torment of Resurrection is doing fantastic. They really knocked it out of the park here. I think a lot of people were interested by it, and a lot of it was the whole old school RPG. A lot of it was the bright colors. A lot of it was the giant miniatures, which is actually, I think, my favorite part of it, just how big the miniatures are, because even though they're made by Acer, which is kind of a really crappy manufacturer that I've never been happy with, when it comes to 60mm miniatures, it's kind of hard to mess up too much. They might find a way. If anybody would, it would probably be Easter. But either way, looks good. Those plain yellow dice need to be upgraded. Don't give me plain dice. Don't do that. You have all this cool fancy stuff and get plain dice. I don't care if they're yellow. Either way, looks like it's doing great. Hell, the last saga. Hopefully it's not the last saga, right? Mythic Games is probably pretty happy with how this has been going. It's definitely trending towards at least 1 million, probably a bit more than that. Is it going to be the 4 million or 2 million darling? That's to be seen, I suppose. But either way, 846,000 is plenty. And I think that's pretty impressive for a company that's kind of faltered on all of their deliveries. The fact that they can still get that many. And I don't know if it's just pretty art. I don't know if it's just because people need more Tainted Grail. I'm not sure exactly what's driving that much. Because they don't have exactly the highest quality products out there otherwise. But they're there. I actually don't like the miniatures. I hate to say that. I love the art. I think the art looks great. I think the miniatures a little lacking. Especially there's like this wolf girl that I can't stand. I don't know if it's a girl or what. So they have, this. She looks like a midget. I don't know what's going on there. Everything just seems really stubby. And maybe that's just me. I don't know. And maybe it's because everybody's bending. It just seems, I don't know. Something about it just doesn't excite. Maybe because I'm not big on whatever hat he has on. I don't know. Or his face. It's just weird. I don't know. It's a very unique style, I guess. Just not super exciting to me, actually. Tainted Grail, I think their miniature design blows this out of the water, personally. But either way, if you want some Norse mythos kind of stuff, this is probably something you want to look into. Victim, the Cursed Force, and the Asylum expansion. I did not cover this one before. My apologies. I didn't know about it. I do now. So here it is. They had a measly $9,000 goal, and they're at $92,000. So they're doing fairly well, all things considered. This is their second Kickstarter. I didn't look at their first one, but they're unlocking stuff. I looked into this game, actually, because the gameplay itself is something I would like. It looks like an interesting game. The art style, I kind of dig, too. It's not quite anime, but it's just very clean art, which I actually kind of appreciate. The miniatures I don't like. I'm not a fan. They're all like this weird chibi style that isn't my favorite at all. It's like just stubby enough to be weird. And so you have like this cool art, like this witch, and then you have her mini, and it looks like not even scary. Let me see if I can go to it just. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really bummed about the miniatures because, so see the evil people here, right? Great looking art, right? And then you get the the miniatures and they just look kind of silly to me. Not a fan of the miniatures. Cool looking game though. Obsidia, this is one I wanted to personally do a shout out for. Now they're not doing miniatures yet. If this is successful, they said they do miniatures. And honestly, they're kind of close, but I think they can still do it. 16,000 out of 20,000 goal with 5 days left. There's certainly potential there. The art here is fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful art. If you like Tainted Grail style art, this might be your kind of thing. Like seriously, really good art. I don't know why it loaded weird. Let me try and refresh that. The art here looks great. And it's like this, it's kind of like Sheol, where it's like this tile placement game, but then with this really cool kind of, so you kind of draw and you build a map out that way, and different tiles do different things, and you move your people around. Right now it's just meeples, though they're saying they can do miniatures later, and honestly that seems kind of interesting to me. But, I mean, it's got combat, it's got spell cards, and the art looks really good. Now, one of the reasons I'm mentioning look, this is great stuff. One of the reasons I'm mentioning this now isn't so much because it necessarily even matches my channel. It's because I read that they had 2 reviewers that backed out because of COVID reasons. Now, first of all, I think that sounds like a really lame excuse unless they actually had COVID. Otherwise, you can do a review. You're just sitting at home playing a board game, please. Even if you got to Skype with somebody, they have a tabletop simulator thing you can try out. I mean, come on. Anyway, so I felt that was a really crummy deal from whoever those reviewers were, because a review can really affect a game, especially a first-time creator like this. They're relying on you. They can't make a lot of prototypes. If they send you one, the least you could do is give them a review. Good or bad, at least you did it. So anyway, I wanted to throw them a bone, show them some light here. So this is by Play Particle. I'll link in the description below to this and all the others I'm mentioning. Honestly, it looks pretty good to me. I really like the art. I think the art looks fantastic. The spell cards look cool. I really dig all of the different spells you can do. It looks like you do some interesting things to kind of affect battles and movement and whatnot. Anyway, that is Obsidia. Next up, I have the Twins by Ouroboros Miniatures. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's their fault for making a weird name in their company title. However, the miniature looks pretty darn sweet. This company actually does like very targeted Kickstarters where it's like, this is just a miniature. That's all it is. You want this miniature, you back it, you get it. I really dig straightforward campaigns like that. And it's like either you're here because you want it or you don't. There's not people that are here for different reasons and you get kind of conflicts like that. This is a giant, weird mech golem zombie looking undead dude with a teddy bear on his pelt belt thing or something like that. Anyway, looks pretty cool. Cool looking miniature. If you're interested, you can get it. All right, let's talk about some news. So let's talk about Kingdom Death Monster King Coins. It's an interesting news because on the one hand, there was a big negative reaction from a group of people. And my initial reaction was pretty negative too, honestly. And I'll kind of explain what they were. But either way, I think Poots's always sounds so weird. Poots's response, I think shows a lot of intelligence and class, and I dig it. I like that he's owning his own meme even. That's good. So what happened? Well, they're in New York. If you didn't know, that's kind of where they're based. And New York is like on lockdown. So they're struggling to essentially just do business, right? And it's hard on a lot of companies. And I get that. That's rough. So what they were kind of doing is making what he viewed as kind of a voucher or a gift card. Essentially, you could buy this king coin. That's this digital king coin. And the king coins were worth real life money, essentially. You're buying essentially a gift card. So you're buying $100 worth of king coin or something like that. Then they were going to have their next sale, and they didn't know what was going to be on the sale yet, but whatever the sale was going to be, whatever the content on there was going to be, for the first 24 hours, only people that pre-purchased these gift cards, these king coins, these vouchers, would be able to get any of the content. If you didn't pay ahead of time, essentially, you weren't going to get first pick. And how Kingdom Death sales work is if you're not purchasing within the first 5 minutes, it's sold out. So essentially, to participate in this sale, you had to get a king coin, and you can see where some people had issue with that, where others didn't. What he did instead works for him and does what he needed it to do without offending people. And I think this is a much smarter, if not more nuanced way of still kind of having sales in a trying time like this. So what he ended up doing was saying, well, you know what, we'll actually make the king coin. We're going to be giving these out. Maybe if you do like a nice painting, or if you participate in something, or if you mention an idea we like, or anything like that. In other words, if you're involved in the community and you're giving to the community of Kingdom Death Monster, we might reward you with a king coin. Well, that's really cool, right? And it's an actual king coin. You can keep it, or you can turn it in for a exclusive Death Gray resin miniature that has no game rules leading up to the Black Friday sales, when they'll kind of show that off. So you kind of have the option. You can either keep your Death coin that you got, or you can turn it in for a free miniature. Either way, you're kind of rewarded. Either way, it's supporting the community a lot, which I think is kind of cool, and kind of creating buzz. Not as good as maybe a direct sale per se, but either way, I think it's a very smart idea, and I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with this. And I think that just the community goodwill that this brings, following up something that didn't do so well, is really, really well done on Poots's part. I think he did a great job kind of flipping this into a good story from a bad story. As for pre-saling a sale, I fundamentally don't agree with purchasing anything if you don't know what you're getting. In other words, if you don't know what's for sale on the next sale, then it kind of sucks buying that. I guess it's kind of like a gift card, but then you're essentially saying only people who have the gift card can get it. And it's already so unfair on how you can get the stuff because essentially stuff gets sold out within minutes, and then within an hour, it's already on eBay. So it's already kind of a crappy situation, and all this would allow is for people to kind of cement their way of having it even crappier on them. I don't know. Especially if you were just trying to get something and you backed the King's coin and then it was kind of useless to you. It was kind of wasn't well thought out. But this I think is, and I really like it. Conan the Conqueror Pledge Manager is open, so feel free to click the link below and back some stuff. There's a lot on display here. There's a lot sold out here as well, so that's something to keep in mind. But they have like these dashboards from Claustrophobia that I said when I unboxed it. I hope I see more of it. Even if it's just Monolith doing it, then that's the rest of the industry's loss. This is a genius system. It works out super well. As you can see, it doesn't ruin the game art theme or anything like that. All that was pretty much white space anyway. And again, it works really well. I went and got out my Claustrophobia one again, and even went and showed my wife, and it opens well, it closes well, it's durable. Part of it helps that Monolith makes great cardboard, and cardstock, components, and so it's extra premium feeling, but I highly suggest everybody get these. These are fantastic. They're just great, and they'll keep your gyms kind of in place too, which is kind of a double bonus here. But they have a whole bunch of stuff. You can get the version 2 rule book. You can get all sorts of other stuff. They have all the really old stuff on here, which is also kind of interesting. I really like seeing the Xavier Colette box and the Brome box, 3D scenery, all this kind of stuff. Love it. Can't wait to get it. I love Conan, one of my all-time favorite games. It's such a satisfyingly fun game, and so if I can get more of it, I'm all for it. Mythic showed some Super Fantasy Brawl production stuff, and I must say, it's looking pretty good. It's looking quite premium. I love the trays here that you get. It kind of reminds me of Small World and the trays there, but either way, these look super nice. The lids are flat, they're not dimpled. However, looking at this, they do not seem like they're snapping either, so you can paint these and they look beautiful and they're nice little display trays. So super excited about that. You got all the kind of plastic bits on the left and tons of minis, and they're looking good. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a good looking game. Next up is the CMON Virtual Expo. So the CMON Expo 2020 was canceled, but then they went and decided, you know what we'll do is we'll actually go on the CMON Expo Facebook page and actually do these Q&A with Eric Langs or a Song of Ice and Fire TMG talk with the designers, all this kind of stuff that they're going to be doing for the virtual expo. And I think that's actually a really cool idea. It means that more people can participate, which is awesome. You're still creating buzz. You're still engaging with your community. I think it's a super smart move, and I can only wish that other events around the board game industry embrace community, even if it's virtually. I think I like seeing this. Next up, Valor and Villainy Minions of Mourdock. I haven't mentioned this in a while, but they are locking it down. They are ready to ship. The first wave, they are they're putting it on lockdown to the point where now you gotta start emailing people to even change anything. So that will be coming soon. Super excited for that. That looked like a lot of fun. Arceus's Pledge Manager is closing on the 30th of June. So keep that in mind. June 30th, Pledge Manager will be closed. They're all full steam ahead on that. Everything's going on track, so that's good news. The Tenaris Adventures Pledge Manager is now open to all, so there's a lot of stuff in here. This legendary box, by the way, comes highly recommended. Their expansions to Arena of the Contest were very well done, from the scenery to the extra job classes, to the extra heroes, to the bosses, to the enemy alt sculpts. All of that is stuff you definitely want. You get the updated hero sculpts for free, and you get a nice storage box. And really, that's the big thing here. If I could scroll down, I want to say, I may have skipped it. It's like $19 for this box. It's a great deal. $19 is huge. I'm not sure where they say it, but seriously, I would highly suggest, if nothing else, just adding the box. So that even if you're like me and you have all this stuff already, even just putting it all in one box is huge. So that's awesome. In other news, Board Game Geek, or BGG, is having a art sale, and I must say these look pretty good. Now they're a little pricey because they're like super high quality, but as you can see, they have like Scythe and Dead of Winter and Gloomhaven and all of these kind of games. Like I'm interested in the Blood Rage one, but this looks great. Like I would love to have this. Now, also just note that it's $30 and that's just the image. You don't get the frame or anything like that. You'd have to supply your own. But either way, that's looking good to me. So you can get it in different sizes if you're from big enough to bigger than you need if you want. Either way, I think this looks great. I think it's a great use of these amazing artists. And if you can support an artist and get something cool out of it, I think it's always a good idea. Brian finally did it. He finished Shattered Seas for Deep Madness. It took him a while, but he did it, and it's huge. It's like 70,500 words, and he said it might actually grow. Originally it was estimated to be about 35,000. He said it will subvert expectations, which is a terrible term to use in 2020. It strikes fear in geeks and nerds and fans everywhere, but I think he meant it in a good way here. So either way, it sounds like it's going to be good. The audiobook sounds like it's going to be interesting, so interested in that. And I'm just excited to finally consume it. I always need more Cthulhu in my life. Next up, Frosthaven. So Frosthaven had some limited quantities. Now, when you have 83,000 backers, limited quantities means 10,000 copies and then 2,000 left over. Which sounds like a lot, and for most games it would be. But when you have 30,000 backers on just your first day, 2,000 is probably not enough free-floating inventory. And Isaac says as much and kind of apologizes. So essentially, he went to solve it. And in case you didn't know, essentially there were 2,000 copies available, and when the PM opens up, this is not going to be enough. And so people are going to be like, hey, that's not enough. So what they did is they did a wave 1.5. Essentially, they're going to charge you no extra. You'll get it a couple months later because they have to make these, but it'll have no limit. So only 2,000 people are going to get it as soon as possible, and then everybody else will get it a few months after July, about 3 months after July it should come. It's probably the best you can do. It's kind of a bummer. Limited qualities always suck, and this one just was kind of, I guess it should have been communicated and thought of earlier, but it is what it is, and I think he did a good job reacting to it. Kind of like Poots, I think Isaac adapted quite well and handled this with tact, and I'm impressed by both of them. I wish only I could act as professional as them sometimes. Really, though, that's it. That's as much news as I bear to put in this video. There's a lot here. I know if I missed anything newsworthy or if I missed anything you think should be linked, whether it's a Kickstarter or a pledge manager or a news article or a tease of something coming up or anything like that, be sure to let us all know in the comments. I want us to kind of create a community like knowledge base here where we can all kind of share with one another the things that are interesting to us or that might affect us. So be sure to do that in the comments. While you're down there, if you did like the video, if you appreciate the research this took, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate it, and it helps the video out a lot to appease that YouTube algorithm. As always, thanks so much for watching. Keep on being the rock stars that you all are, and I will talk to you again very, very soon.